Hello and welcome back to my channel. This is another reading vlog. This vlog will have no theme, so like the last vlog I did was a Emily Wilde reading vlog, and I think I did a historical fantasy one as well, but this one is just whatever I'm in the mood for because I'm kind of in a slump right now. I made a March TBR and nothing on it's really calling to me, so I am just reading what I feel like so I do not get in a slump. To counter my slump, because I was reading through my TBR and I read Where the Dark Stands Still, which is a book I actually DNF'd last year, but it was a soft DNF, like I wanted to pick it back up, and I did that. It was on my March TBR and I rated it 2 stars. Yeah, I'm just not feeling anything on my TBR, so I randomly chose a book from my TBR jar. And I actually stuck to it. Normally when I do that, I kind of chicken out and just pick something else up. But I actually did what I chose from the jar, which was The Scholar and the Last Fairy Door, and unfortunately it wasn't a great pick. I had really high hopes for this, but I gave it like a 3.5 stars. Yeah, I honestly didn't know what I expected of this. I was thinking like dark academia, almost cozy fantasy. I was thinking it would be like the book Half a Soul, but it was a bit more heavy on like the toxic friend group dynamic of dark academia, which I was not expecting. Like, no one I've heard pitching this book has mentioned that. Like, there's this kind of codependent friend group with like lots of secrets and stuff like that, which yeah, I just wasn't expecting, and I actually do quite like that in books, but this was a very character driven book and the characters to me were not that entertaining. Like, there's 4 main characters and we only get the point of view of one of them, which I thought was a strange choice because I felt like we could have benefited from at least one other point of view. But the girl, I think the main character's name's Clover, yeah, she was the least interesting to me out of the 4, and she's the one that we got the point of view from. So I didn't love that. But then also, this was like a weirdly paced book. I don't mind a slow build in a book. Like, it starts off slow, but then by the end, it's like picked up. But this one was like really slow, not much happened for like 250 pages, and then all of a sudden everything was happening, which I don't like. I find that really jarring. Like, there was no build up, it was just nothing and then everything, and I just didn't care when we got to like the main bit of the plot, like in the last 150 pages. So yeah, this was like 3 stars for me, unfortunately, because I had such high hopes for this, but oh well. The first book you're going to see me reading in this vlog is another 5-star prediction, but hopefully this one goes better than the 3-star, and that's Upon a Starlit Tide by Kill Woods, and this is an author I've read from before. I read After the Forest, which I gave 3 stars, but the reviews of that book are quite low, like it's pretty lowly rated on Goodreads, and I think I was one of the few people who actually really did quite enjoy it, even though I only gave it 3 stars, but I still did enjoy it. I've seen worse reviews for it, but this one on the other hand has like an over 4.2 rating, or maybe even higher on Goodreads. Like, the reviews have just been amazing. There's so many 5-star reads and the plot sounds really interesting as well, so I am hoping that this one could be a 5-star for me. This is a adult standalone fantasy and it's pitched as Cinderella meets the Little Mermaid, and it's set in the 1700s in France, and the main character is the stepdaughter of a ship merchant, and her sisters are kind of like interested in getting married and stuff, but she on the other hand doesn't want to, and she feels really called to by the sea. And one day she finds this random stranger in amongst a shipwreck in the sea, and she goes and saves him, and she gets like drawn into this world of like magic and fae, and the girl in the cover is a mermaid, so I don't know if she gets turned into a mermaid at some point. Maybe that would be really interesting. But yeah, I love this cover so much. It's one of the prettiest covers, and it's also really unique as well, like just the art style. I'm just obsessed with it, so hopefully I like this book. Another book I'm going to try and get through in this vlog is Jane Eyre. I've been reading this since like October, November time, and I'm only on page like 50 or 60. And it's not even that hard of a read. I was reading it and I'm like, I wasn't struggling. It's just, it's not gripping me yet. But I think I'm going to give the audiobook a go because it's actually free to listen to. And yeah, I might give that a go. Also, I got majorly spoiled for this book, which I know is a stupid thing to say to like a book that's over 100 years old, but I genuinely didn't know anything about Jane Eyre except from like the synopsis, and then I saw on TikTok someone mention something that happens in it, like something quite important, And yeah, I already can tell that's going to kind of ruin my enjoyment of it because I feel like that twist would have been really interesting to me. But oh well, I can't complain about being spoiled for a book that's like 100 years old. So it's the next day, not that you can tell because I'm wearing the same outfit, but don't judge me, it's comfy. I actually got a decent amount of reading done last night. I started listening to Jane Eyre on audiobook, which was the right decision, I think, because I was just finding it a bit boring to get through while reading physically, but the audiobook is actually really good. The narrator does like different voices for each character, which I find very helpful. And yeah, I'm on page 153 now, which is like a third of the way through the book, and I'm really enjoying it. I also got 50 pages into Upon a Starlit Tide, and I am loving this so far. I've only read 3 chapters, but it's great. I love the main character. I also think the side characters are really distinct, which is quite rare for books, honestly. Like, one of my pet peeves in books is side characters that don't feel fleshed out, or they just feel like they're there because the author felt like they had to be added. Like, they're just there because the author thought, oh, the main character has to have a best friend or has to have this person in their life, but they're just there to be there. But these characters feel like they're really distinct. They have their own personalities, and you can tell how each of them have like shaped the main character based off of their personalities and how they treat her. Like, for example, she has 2 sisters, and one is like really horrible and jealous of her, and the other one's kinder to her. And just love side characters who are there for a purpose. But yeah, I'm absolutely loving this so far. I really like the writing style, so I have high hopes for this. I have an appointment at 4:30, and I hate having appointments that late in the day because I feel like I can't do anything before it. But I think I'm going to go to Waterstones. I went yesterday to get the new Hunger Games book, and they didn't have it. The guy told me that he actually sold the last copy just before I got in. But now I checked the stock app and they have stock in it. It says they have plenty available, so I'm going to try and go again. It'll be really embarrassing if I go back and it's the same person and they still don't have it. But I'm sure they'll have it. It says they have plenty available. But yeah, I'm going to go and check that out, and then I might go on a walk later. We'll see, because it's the first of a few sunny days that we've had all year, and coincidentally, the few sunny days that we have had, I've been working all day, so I haven't been able to enjoy them. So I think I might go on a walk later to enjoy the sun, because Scottish winters are rough. Like, 6 months of a Scottish winter is draining, to say the least. Look what I just got. I finally got a copy. The Waterstones I went to, they must have had a delivery this morning, because it's the same one I went to yesterday. That had all sold out, but they must have had a delivery because there was a whole table of them, and it was £4 off as well, so it went from 19.99 to 15.99, and I also had a £10 voucher, so I only spent £5 on this, which is great. And this might be my next read, actually, after Upon the Starlit Tide, because everyone seems to be reading it right now and I feel kind of left out. I've got some FOMO, so I'm going to read this next, I think, and hopefully I'll film it for the vlog, and yeah, maybe make the vlog a bit more interesting. So yeah, I'm really excited though. I'm going to do one of my favourite hobbies that I like to do while listening to audiobooks, and that is colouring in. I'm pretty sure I included it in the last vlog as well, but basically since October or September time I've been obsessed with colouring in. I mean, I've liked it for years, like since I was a kid basically, but there's like a part on TikTok called the Colour Talk, and people have been like hyping up these really expensive pens and all these different books, and yeah, I've just been addicted since then. But I will say, like, since early February I've cut down quite a bit on colouring. Like, I was averaging in January a page a day at least, and they would take me multiple hours to do, so it was taking up a lot of time, so I have significantly slowed down. It doesn't help that my pens are kind of running out a bit. I've only got them in November and they're really expensive, but to be fair, I was using them like every day for like 2 months straight. So, and it's only like my favourite colours that are running out. The rest that I haven't touched as much are fine, but yeah. But I'm going to colour in a little bit while listening to Jane Eyre. I've already listened to 20 minutes of it today while I was on my walk earlier, and yeah, hopefully I can get through it a little bit more. page 248 of Jane Eyre, which is chapter 23. So I'm now over halfway through, so that's good. And I am also really enjoying it so far, which I actually did expect, but also was scared that I wouldn't, if that makes sense. I also finished my colouring page, and it only took me an hour, which is actually not that long for me, but this is it. It's like a juice bar kind of thing. And it's like a watermelon. I saw a few people on TikTok do this where they like made it look like a watermelon. I just think it's really cute, and I really like this page actually. I love how it turned out. Okay, so it's actually a few days later and I finally need to wrap up this vlog. I have finished my 2 current reads, which I will talk about in a minute. But first I have a mini haul. I only have 1 book, and it's not from my Waterstones trip. It is a pre-order of The Ragpicker King by Cassandra Clare, which is a sequel to Swordcatcher, which I read last year and absolutely loved and gave it 5 stars. That book was amazing, but this is the Illumicrate edition. I actually don't have the Illumicrate edition of the first book, but I had to pick this edition of the second book because it's my absolute favourite and it's just so pretty. But the sprayed edges have a mistake on it, and I don't know if anyone else's is like it, but you can't really see it on camera, but there's just a white streak down it where there's just no paint, or as if the printer's missed a few pages. Yeah, you can kind of see it there, but it's not that noticeable on camera. I don't know if it's just mine, but I honestly am not that bothered by it. I don't think it's going to bother me enough to ask for a replacement, so yeah, I'm just going to keep it. But as for a reading update, I finished Jane Eyre about 2 nights ago, I think, maybe 3 nights ago, and I'm going to give it 4 stars. I actually really enjoyed it, and I do think the audiobook was the right choice because I bet I would still be only on like page 70 if I was reading it physically because it was taking me forever. But yeah, and the audiobook was really good as well. But overall, I did enjoy it. I liked Jane as the main character. I liked where the plot went. The only reason it's not a 5 is just I didn't love it. I didn't really connect with the story that much. I cared, but I didn't care that much, if that makes sense. I also just thought like maybe it's just because it's a classic, but I felt like the conversations the characters were having dragged so much. There was one point where near the end of the book, her and the main love interest, Mr. Rochester, who, by the way, I did not like, but I don't think that's an unpopular opinion. I don't think anyone likes him. But they were having a conversation and it lasted like 20 pages of just this conversation. Other than that, I really enjoyed it. It's probably one of my favourite classics now, and I really want to pick up Wuthering Heights, which I heard is a bit more difficult to read than Jane Eyre, but I'm sure it'll be fine because this one was absolutely fine for a classic, to be honest. And then last night I finished Upon a Starlit Tide, and I am pleased to announce that this was not only a 5-star read, but one of my new favourite books now of all time, because I was just absolutely obsessed with this. I was going to film myself reacting to the last 100 pages because I knew stuff was going to go down, but to be honest, I was just so invested by it. I just couldn't be bothered picking up my phone to film myself. I was just so excited to read this and I could not put it down. Like, there was 29 chapters in this book. It is nearly 500 pages, and not a single chapter went by where I thought I'm bored or I didn't enjoy that. I loved every single page of this book, and I thought the ending was absolutely perfect. And I just love how at the start it felt very much like a retelling. It's Cinderella and the Little Mermaid, and you really can tell the Cinderella part, especially in the beginning, and I thought it was going to maybe be too similar and I was going to predict a lot of the things that would happen, but in the last half or third of the book it kind of goes off the rails and just like becomes its own thing, and I absolutely loved that. I loved how the main character got her justice because she was so hard done by in this book, so wronged, and she got her happy ending in my opinion, and I thought the ending was just so like sweet and nice and almost bittersweet in a way, but I feel like that was very fitting for the book, and I just absolutely loved it. I love the magic in this world. Like, it's just so subtle, but I love it so much. And I normally don't like mermaid or sea stories or pirate stories, and I think one of the things I liked about this is because it's mainly set on land and the sea parts aren't that frequent, which made me long for them when we did like get them or get teased about them. For some reason, I just don't like books where they're completely set at sea. But this one was just absolutely amazing. And I already want to reread it, and I'm definitely going to be recommending this one a lot because I'm obsessed now. But yeah, that is the end of the reading vlog. Sorry this one wasn't that entertaining, but I read some good books. Forgot to mention that while I was in Waterstones today as well, I also started the Sunrise on the Reaping. I completely forgot the name of the book there. The new Hunger Games prequel, and I'm only one chapter in, but I'm enjoying it so far, so I'm looking forward to that. Sorry it wasn't in the rest of this vlog, but I've been filming for a week now basically, and it needs to end somewhere, so maybe another time I'll talk about it, but yeah, I am enjoying it so far. Yeah, let me know if you've read any of these books and if I've convinced you to read Upon a Starlit Tide, because I need more people to talk about it too.